Welcome everyone to another episode of Tradingview Tips. My name is Bastian. A lot of you may know me as Honcho Mindset, and today we're going to be following up with our previous episode. So if you haven't had the chance to visit that yet, I highly suggest that you do go ahead and revisit our most recent episode on this playlist. If you do not have an account with TradingView, the first video on this playlist will help you get all set up. The second video will help you get through the navigation side of things. And today is going to be a little more advanced on the navigation side of things. And to be more specific, we're going to mainly be focused only on this section here on the left. This is your toolbar here. So one thing that I want to bring to your guys' attention is a little bit of a review from last time. Here on this toolbar, as you guys can see, I'm hovering over it. You guys, as soon as you hover over one of the tools, a little side option will pop up, and you can see that each one of these tools will have a few selections to pick from. Now, there are many tools, many ways to utilize everything here on TradingView. There's absolutely no wrong way to do things. So please go ahead and play with these tools. I highly advise that you guys get familiar with the navigation. The simpler that you can make this whole experience, the easier it will help you trade and invest. So with that said, we're going to be diving into and reviewing a little bit more of these tools. So one of the things that I'm going to bring to your attention is, notice that when I click to the side, to this little side menu on this tool, you can go ahead and do a variety of things. So the main thing that I'm going to show you guys right now is, as you guys can see, I've selected the rectangle. Okay. Now the rectangle, you guys can see that mine may look a little bit different than yours, and I'll show you how I've gotten mine to be this color, this shape, this shade, transparent, and everything here. So when you guys have selected or dropped down a tool, okay, one of the cool things about TradingView is most of these tools are a 2 anchor drop. So what does that mean is that it will usually take about 2 or more clicks to drop down your tool. And so once you drop your tool on the chart, you can do one or two things. You can right click it and pull up your settings, or a really cool fast way to do it is just double clicking. As soon as you see these cursors or these highlighted areas in which you can grab the tool, you can go ahead and double click one of those. As soon as you hover over the tool and you see those, you can double click, okay? And that will automatically put you in the settings, okay? So one of the cool things that you can see here in this rectangle, you can rename them. You can call them whatever you want. I have mine all set up the same way. The only thing I really rename are the templates, and I'll dive into that later on in this session. So first segment of the settings is always going to be style. In the style, you're going to find your borders. Notice that I have mine set to yellow, yet you guys see no yellow on there. That is because I have the transparency really high. As we move this more towards the right, the transparency will become less and less, and it will be more visible to the eye. So in style, you'll be dealing with colors, borders, and the visibility of your object, as well as, of course, the thickness. As you guys can see here, I'm gonna make this really visible, and I'm going to start clicking through the thickness of that. You guys see how we got it really thick there. Now, I like my things a little bit simple, transparent, really clean. So this is why you guys see it, my rectangle, more like that. Now you can set it with a background, 0 background. You can set it with a border, no border, background, no background. You guys can see here, this is the way that I like to set mine up. Okay, so now here you can extend it to the right, to the left. Most of the properties of the visual of this tool will be found on the style segment of your settings. Okay, now clicking over to the right, you can see here in text, not all of your tools will have this segment. I want to be very clear. Not all of your tools will have this segment. All of these segments here, all of these tabs are not going to be available throughout all of your tools. I want to be very clear. These tabs here are going to vary with each individual tool that you may have. Okay, so now moving over to the text tab, you can see here, I'm going to simply type IPA, right? So IPA here in the middle of a rectangle, you can see that it's set to all the way to the left and the inside left, and you can pick the top, bottom, inside, left, center, right. Again, I like to play with everything, so you can have your text visible. Let's say you wanted to have it visible for now, and then for the next one you don't want it visible. This is a simple way so you don't have to delete any words or anything like that. You can just unselect the text and it will simply just not be available for you. So now once you select it, again, you can check out the colors, the transparency. Okay, now one thing that I want to be very, very clear with, okay, is, again, not all of these tabs will pop up, and also what we're leading to are templates. Okay, so I want you guys to keep all of these tabs and settings in mind as we move forward. Okay, because I want you guys to see what happens once we get to saving these things for your templates. Okay, so now your coordinates, in regards of your templates, your coordinates will be the only thing that will not, I repeat, your coordinates will be the only thing that will not affect your templates. Okay, style, text, and visibility will all be shown and saved within each template. Now, very simple of how to do it. Here's where I want you guys to really, really be cautious is, as you're saving templates, with the visibility, with the text and style, if I was to save this IPA, we'll call it IPA 1. If I was to save this IPA template, it will literally save just as I've left it, with the exception of the coordinates of the tool. So let's say you've accidentally unselected the hourly time frame. Anytime, let's go to save as, and let's say this is IPA 1. Go ahead and save that. Anytime that I want to utilize this tool, and let's say I want to quickly go to my template, I will simply right click it. The first option here, you can see is template, and you can see our drop down menu here on the right. You can see IPAs when I've already had an IPA 1, and now I have an IPA 1. You select this, and now you guys can see that it did pop up. But remember, we've unselected the hourly time frames. Okay, so now when we go to the 4 hour, you can see that that box is gone. Back to the daily time frame, and the box reappears. Okay, so when you're saving these templates, be very aware of the time frame that you are allowing these templates to be visible on, because if you were to set it up incorrectly, it can become very, very annoying when you're looking to navigate through tools and trades or markups more efficiently. So that's one thing that's always happened to me. I'm very, very detail oriented, and so these things right here really, really get my attention. And so when I set up my tools, I always want to be sure that the time frames that I'm not going to utilize this tool for ever are unselected, and all the time frames that are going to be used for this tool are selected. And for that time frame, you can also retract and expand the length of that time frame. Most everything will start with 1. So with that said, I want you guys to try this out. Save a couple of templates yourself. At first, guys, you guys will always have a lot of templates. And what's really cool is if you save a template and you don't like it, you can simply go ahead and delete here, remove from your list. Or what I really like, let's say I've made a mistake on my template and man, like I actually don't want to have the daily unselected, the hourly unselected. I want to have the monthly unselected instead. So what you can do is actually go to your templates again. So double click on your tool. Okay, make sure that these little grab on are showing up when you double click. Otherwise, it's not going to work. See, I'm double clicking and nothing is popping up until I get to the edge where I can actually grab the tool. And when I double click, I'm able to access this window fairly fast. And let's say again, you made the mistake and saved it under no hourly, but now you're like, you know what? I use it on the hourly quite a bit. You can simply go ahead and go here, delete it, yes, or there's a way quicker way to do it, and you can just simply replace it. So I'm going to type in IPA 1, and I'm going to click save, and it's going to ask me if I want to confirm the drawing template IPA 1 already exists. Do you want to replace it? Yes, I do want to replace it. And so there you go. Now we don't have 2, we just have the 1, and then that 1 template, which will pop up here. That 1 template, IPA 1, is going to have our new settings set upon. Okay, so this is a really cool trick that I've utilized, and it's just simple, easy ways to just make your navigation easier. Okay, so now I do get a lot of questions, guys, about my templates with emojis. I will say this. I can't dive into that through my PC today, but keep your eyes out for this week. I will be creating a short video on how to do that. Today, what I will do though is give you guys instructions on how I did it. And so Tradingview is also an app, a mobile app that you can find on your phone, on your tablet or so. Me personally, I use it on my PC and my tablet. Okay, and so through my tablet or through a mobile device, let's say I'm clicking my arrow here, and you guys can see here I have my templates and I have all these emojis here, and so we're going to use the magnet. Okay, so I'm gonna pull up the magnet, and you guys can see here, let me make that magnet a lot bigger. Boom. Okay, so a lot of people ask me, how did you get the magnet on there? And the answer is fairly simple. Just like I would save a template on any other tool, instead of saving the template on your desktop, you log into your Tradingview account on a mobile app or a mobile browser. And once you're in there, what you're going to do is you're going to head over to the text tab. And you're going to notice here on the text, I've already selected or typed in my magnet. And the only way that you're able to do that, at least for PC users and Windows users, is, at least for me, up to my knowledge and awareness, is through a mobile device. And so what I do is I'll pull out my iPad and I'll save the template on there. And the iPad has a really easy way, or all mobile devices really have a really simple, easy way to switch between keyboards. And so one of my keywords there is emojis. And so I go on my mobile device, I type in the emoji that I want to save, and then I save that emoji as a template on one of the tools. And it could be any tool. One thing that I want to make you guys aware of, the magnet is pretty big here. I've already changed that. And so when I go back to it, it's going to go back to regular size. Why? Because when the moment in which I saved this template was at a setting of 12 on the size of the magnet or the text. Okay, on the size of the text was set to the setting in 12. Okay, and it's set to the top right. And also, I want to make you guys aware it's visible on every single time frame. I'm going to show you guys a template that I have, which is my Asian liquidity. And as you guys notice, as soon as I typed in that Asian liquidity, or I selected my Asian liquidity template, so let's go to it here. You can, again, double click it or right click it. And you guys can see right here, template. You just go ahead and scroll down, and here on my fourth down, you can see Asian liquidity. And so again, notice how my tool erased. So one of the cool things about that tool is that I have it set to a specific time frame to pop up only for specific time frames. So as we dive down deeper, okay, you guys can see now we're on the 1 hour time frame, and you guys can now see this Asian liquidity tool. Okay, now the reason is, and we're going to navigate to it, is because on the visibility tab, I have it set so it'll only be visible not only just on the hourly, but on the 1 hour only and lower time frames. And so I do these type of things for specific tools. I'm sure you're going to find this very useful as well to be utilizing on your tools and make everything a lot more simple. Again, simplicity is key. Okay, so now really cool things that you can do with these tools is, so let's say I'm dropping an arrow, okay? And I'm dragging that arrow across, and you're just what you're trying to do, you're just trying to get this straight. Let's say you have some equal highs that you want to mark out, or you want to, let's say, drag out your tool from here all the way to the right. And honestly, like as you drag it, the tool is just kind of back and forth, and you want to get it really precise. The easiest way to get these type of things really precise is if before you make your second click on your tool. Remember, most tools will take 2 clicks to drop onto your chart. So notice I've anchored one point of my arrow. Now I have to anchor the other end of my arrow. And if you're a detail-oriented individual like myself, you want things to be precise, right? So now to get this line very precise and straight, what you do is before you drop that second anchor, you hold shift. So now I want you guys to see what happens when I hold shift. Okay, the arrow automatically straightens out, just flat. Okay, now when I let go, the anchor or the tool goes back to my cursor. When I hold shift again, it will straighten everything out, make everything nice and straight, so that way you don't really have to worry about precision. It just makes it really nice and simple and fast. Okay, that's my goal here, is to make everything simple and fast. Okay, so as you guys can see here, you can drag it across, you can drag it diagonally as well. So it's diagonally, I believe, diagonally, straight down, back, up, okay, and side to side. And you can get very precise with those movements. I use this all the time for the main reason that I'm, again, very detail oriented. So using the shift key will react differently depending on the tool. So now let's go back to our rectangle. I have anchored the first point to the chart. And now watch closely as I hold shift. What happened to our rectangle? It's no longer a rectangle. It squares it off. So shift on a rectangle tool will square it off. And no matter how far out you go, it will evenly distribute that same length throughout all sides. Unlike without holding shift, as you guys can see, I'm just moving it sideways, up, down more freely. And as soon as we hold down shift, this rectangle will even itself out on all four sides. So check this out. Boom. Even itself out. So again, shift key will behave differently depending on what tool you use it for. The next key that I want to show you guys is actually one of my favorites. So let's drop it here. This is one of those tools that only requires one anchor. And so we're going to drop it in the same place there. This is my horizontal ray. Okay. This is the horizontal ray tool, and it is found here on the second to bottom tab on the tools bar. And it is, if you scroll halfway down, you'll find a horizontal line and a horizontal ray. Okay. So one of the really cool things that Tradingview has is a copy, a tool copier. And instead of doing, you can, there's two ways to do it. So you can go ahead and right click the tool and simply clone. Okay. Or you can go ahead and hold down control. So first, hold down control on your keyboard, and then select the tool that you want to duplicate and simply grab and drag. And notice that now my Tradingview has created a duplicate, and it's as simple as grabbing control first, click control first, select the tool that you would like to duplicate, and drag it across. Notice how I personally selected 2. You can select 1, and let's say I selected 2, and you can control will select multiple. Let's say you don't want to select everything, and now let's select all of these guys, actually all 6 of these. And so what it's going to do is I'm going to just click on any of these and just click and drag. And notice how it just copies everything over. Okay, notice how it just copies everything over for us. So it's a really cool tool. If a really cool way to utilize your tools, and you can do that with any of the tools. So let's say now I have a rectangle and then I have an arrow. Now with control, you can group your selection. You have already selected the arrow. Then you can go over here and select your horizontal ray, and then you can come over here and select your rectangle. And with that, you can click on any of these, hold control down, click and drag to duplicate. Okay. Again, you can do these with anything. It's really cool trick. And yeah, I imagine you guys are going to find that very useful yourselves. Now, let's say like you have a bunch of stuff over here. We're going to drop some tools everywhere. One really cool thing that Tradingview has, again, is a clear of all tools, whether they're selected or not. You can go ahead and click that little trash can on the bottom of this toolbar and just go ahead and select it, and the side options will pop up. It will always pop up first, the side options, no matter what. So all you do is remove all of your drawings. Okay. So that's one thing that, again, with control, you can group them together to copy them, but you cannot group them together to remove them all at once or remove a certain amount. If you need to remove this tool, but not this one. One second. And not that one, then you will have to individually click these and delete them one by one, which again is not the end of the world. It's fairly simple. And then do it that way. Now, that is all the functions that I'm aware of so far of the control key. And so now moving forward with setting alerts. Guys, I know that you guys see this on the top end alerts here. We did go over it fairly quick on the last episode. And so this time I'm going to be going over, and of course, if you guys haven't seen that video, I highly recommend you guys go revisit it. It's the second video on the Tradingview tips playlist. Okay, so that you guys can see here a really cool thing that you can do with your tools. Let's say I want to set an alert, but I want to set an alert only if it's within a certain time window. So here's a really cool trick that I've learned. Let's say you want to have your alert on for 2 days. Okay, you can go ahead and set, and you, again, for those of you who don't know what alerts are, alerts will notify you when price action hits that level in which you've set that notification or alert at. It will notify you, again, it will notify you when price action hits or runs through the level in which you've set your alert. And so check this out. As I move my arrow here, let's say I want to set it for all the way through Monday the 21st. Okay. And so you guys can see here on the dates, okay, starting from Tuesday at 5 a.m. all the way to Monday till 5 p.m. All right, so here we are. Let's say you wanted price to alert you when and if we cross below here before Monday the 21st at 5 p.m. Okay, and so what you're going to do is you're going to right click your tool, and the very first option that you guys can see here is add alert on arrow. Boom. Okay, so what does this do? It adds an alert on that arrow, but not on the price specifically, but on that arrow tool specifically. So let's say price action doesn't come back by Monday the 21st at 5 p.m., which it clearly hasn't. Let's say it doesn't come back into that area. Then your trade, okay, your trade will either, your excuse me, your alert won't pop up or it won't show, okay, if it goes beyond that time period, because your alert is set and attached to this tool, not the specific price. Unlike any other regular alert that you can set a specific price to, let's say 118,500. Okay, boom, 118,500. Okay, and I'm going to create that. And actually, we're going to sample this, okay? I'm going to sample this. Okay, and we're going to create that, continue anyways. And yeah, you guys can see that at 18,500, I have set an alert. And you can see this alert through here. You can click on it and see the alert name. You can also right click it or double click it and have all these other options with it. You can do quite a bit with these things. Set it so it can send you an email, a bunch of stuff. Okay. And so for me personally, I right click them. You can edit them, and yours may look a little different. You may be seeing this on your chart. The way to get rid of those is by right clicking and selecting that very fourth bottom option, extend alert lines, unselect. You guys can see that it's gone. So that's how you set alerts. Unlike, with an arrow, one second. Unlike when we set it with an arrow, unless price action touches our arrow, we will not be hearing that alert. Even though that alert is down there, we will not be seeing that alert. So you guys can see here, I'm going to set this alert on this arrow. Set an alert. Again, we're going to name it sample. Okay. And so now you guys can see that your timer has been activated. When your alert gets hit, these will go a little bit more transparent. You'll still be able to see it, but it will go a little bit more transparent. And so now you guys can see here that we did not hit that level, and therefore this area was not triggered. And that way you can set triggers and alerts on price on specific levels within a specific time range that we have been able to provide thanks to the arrow tool. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and delete that. And again, if you delete the tool, you also, by essence, delete the alert attached to that tool. And anything attached to that tool will also be deleted. So once we delete that and confirm it, let me go ahead and delete this alert before it throws me off. Okay, so if you guys have any questions throughout this session, please don't hesitate to drop some comments, questions, or observations below. I'm going to go through a few more things, and then we're going to wrap up this session, okay? So sending alerts on tools, check. All right, so now magnet. I know you guys see this blue magnet here selected. I've unselected it. So what the magnet does is, let me grab a tool. Okay, I'm going to grab the arrow again. Notice how when I hover over any of these, nothing's really happening, okay? Nothing's really happening. I can click and select this anywhere. So check this out. Notice how my cursor is right below these lows here on Thursday the 17th at 5 a.m. And my cursor is just staying in one place. And I'm just going to click and drag, okay? Now let's turn on the magnet. Now the side option is going to be either a weak magnet or a strong magnet or a black hole. Guys, the black hole is new, so I have no idea what it does. I will play with that later on and create another video for it. But for now, what I do play with a lot and I keep my settings always at is the weak magnet. And what that does is, notice how when I picked up my tool, because we were right under these equal lows here, price action or my anchor is magnetized to the high, the open. So it would be the high, the open, the low, or the close of each candle, any candle. The low, the close, the open, and the high. We are attracted to all of those given this magnet setting. And notice after I turn that off, that isn't the case anymore. Okay. So stay in drawing mode. What does this mean? So here on the magnet right below, guys, if you ever need to drop a lot of charts, markups, or need to do a lot of things, or let's say you're backtesting a strategy, you're backtesting something, again, we're going to utilize the example of the arrow. And instead, this time we're going to select stay in drawing mode right underneath the magnet here on the left hand side. I'm going to select that, and notice I'm going to drop an arrow, anchor the other end of it. My arrow's done. then I'm going to sorry, I unselected the arrow. So usually you won't have to do this. So check this out. Select the arrow, click it, drop it, click it, drop it, click it, drop it, click it, drop it. And notice that I don't have to go back and select the arrow one more time, because that drawing tool helps me stay within that drawing tool and let me click it again and again and again. And once you're done, you can go ahead and unselect it. And the next time I drop that arrow, it would just be 1. And then I would have to go run back over here or over here to select that again. Now, the last thing I'm going to go over with you guys is, or the second to last thing that I'm going to go over with you guys is the lock. Okay, what does the lock do? The lock, let me drop a couple of things on here. Whenever you're doing a project and you have a lot of things going on, let's say you want to make sure that everything stays in place, you go ahead and lock them. What that does is, like, now I can't grab them, and even if I grab them, I can't move them. So even if you were working, navigating through the chart or grabbing, and to not mess up your markups, you go ahead and lock everything, and then that way you're not able to move them out of place, out of their current placement. Now, what's really cool here, guys, is let's unlock everything. But I only want to lock this horizontal ray. So I will right click it or double click it. I like to just right click it. And you can see that when we drop down through our option menu, okay, you can see 4th option from the bottom is going to be lock. And so now our horizontal ray is locked from being grabbed. So now let's take that off, unlock, and you can easily start moving that horizontal ray. Okay, so 2 ways that you can lock. You can lock as a group, or you can lock individually. Okay, it's really, really interesting. Like I said, I wish someone had taught me all of this stuff when I was starting. But again, I'm a hands-on learner, so I'm really happy that the way I learned. I'm actually genuinely happy that I've been able to acquire all this information through my experiences. And it's been trial and error for sure. Okay, so now I'm going to finalize with this, guys. I know that you guys have seen me pull a lot of tools out of this bottom side, and I want to, if you guys don't see this toolbar here, go ahead and come to the left hand side, go all the way to the bottom when you see that blue star, and go ahead and unselect it or select it, and your menu will pop up. And if it does not pop up, it's because you may not have any favorites tools. And the way to add anything to this toolbar down here is to go to any tool and select these circles. So now we're going to add the rotated rectangle. You guys can see that on the bottom of that favorites toolbar, that is popping up. Again, I set myself up with all of my used tools from my most used to my least used here on the right, to the right, from left to right. Okay, and so I've done this because I want to make trading and investment and thinking as easy as possible, as less stressful as humanly possible. The goal is to keep things simple. Okay, remember, keep your charts nice and clean. Make them all precise and sexy charts only. That way you can have a clear vision of where price may be going and a clear representation of price action. Okay, now with that said, guys, we are going to wrap it up right there. This was a little bit of a longer session, but I appreciate every single one of you for being on this call today and on this recording. Love you guys for being here and showing so much love and appreciation. Guys, if you want to see any more Tradingview tips, anything specific that you guys see me use or break down, or if you guys see me on live streams or anything like that, please do not hesitate to ask. I will be more than happy to put out content for you. If you guys have any questions in regards to this video, comments, or observation, drop a comment down below. Subscribe and like this video. And yeah, I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.